In today's video, I'll be going over the top 10 decks in the tier list right now, all the way from tier 1 to tier 4. We're about to get into it, but if you have not yet, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. So this first deck here is Mega Charizard Y. A lot of people thought this card was going to be tier 1 as soon as it was shown in the trailer, but it turns out it's a little bit too slow and takes a little bit too long to get set up for it to really be tier 1. So it's around tier 4, at the top of tier 4, because it just hasn't had any great placements. I mean, second 71, second 67, etc, of small tournaments it's placed top 4 in, but really no first place placements at all. And I do want to briefly, mention how the deck works. Of course, you have a draw engine with Entei, makes it consistent, and that's why you only really need to run one Mega Charizard, and you can run one of the basic Charizards because it's really good for dealing with Oricorio. If you go against that Oricorio Magnezone deck, get into this guy and you're going to win the game. This player is teching in one Indeedee because Charizard damages itself, so I'm assuming they want an Indeedee to heal it from the bench too. They also have a Lily for some extra healing, but most other versions of this deck are actually not running Indeedee. I have not tested Indeedee personally myself, but I think I would go without it because if you start with it, you're in a bad position. You really just want to start with Entei, and it makes your deck a little bit less consistent. I prefer consistency over everything, especially if you're going to play ranked with this. You want to draw the Charizard line as fast as possible using your draw engine. So that's how this deck works. It is at the bottom of tier 4. The next deck that I want to talk about here is actually Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix has performed a little bit better, apparently, than Charizard. Let me see. I mean, oh yeah, this is why, because it got top 8 in a 102 player tournament and top 16 82. So top 16 in 267 also. It's just had better placements in larger tournaments, and that's why I would say it's around the same level as Charizard. It suffers from like the same issues, right? Steelix costs 4 energy to set up. Its damage is also a little bit low. It does deal with Oricorio really well with Onyx, and you can run Oricorio in this. I think that's how people are running it because, you need something to counter Charizard, for example, or Venusaur, and Oricorio is great at that. This deck is actually very fast. Again, it's just not quite fast enough and maybe not as consistent as some of these other decks because it does not have a draw engine either. That's why they're running one Serena in here, and this seems to be the way to play this deck with Oricorio, Pichu, and the Steelix line. All right, so the next deck I want to talk about here, let's see, we got some tier 3. I'm going to skip the rest of these tier 4 decks because you've probably seen them in the past. This Rampardos I think is running Ditto, which is really funny. I'm going to make a video on it, but this is what that deck looks like. Ditto copies your Rampardos effect from the bench. I definitely need to make a video on that because that's hilarious. I can't believe Ditto's even in a tier list deck. That's crazy. Even if it's in tier 4, it's still nuts. All right, I don't want to talk about Darkrai Magnezone because we kind of know how that works with the new Magnezone. Whimsicott, it was in tier 2 or the top of tier 3 briefly, but it dropped down because people are learning how to counter it now, but they all kind of play in the same way. Oh, it plays second in a 1,000 player tournament. That's kind of an insane placement. I'm surprised it's not higher. It's just a really good control deck. This player is actually running 2 Kartana, which is, I guess, better for early game. Wow, okay, I haven't seen anyone play with 2 Kartanas. I've seen one. Actually, no, this guy's Pheromosa. Oh, here's 2. Okay, so they are playing with 2. I think it's for dealing with Oricorio and just getting early attacks off before you bring Whimsicott out, because I'm saying its name wrong. I know, I'm so sorry. Whimsicott. Wait, is that? Oh god, I'm getting confused. Okay, ignore that. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. You guys know this, but this is a great control deck. The only weakness is sometimes this guy's not going to do that much damage, especially you do not really want to start with him. You want to get them low first, set up Gyarados to increase their retreat cost, and then you go into him later in the game and finish it up. This deck's also super consistent because you can run Licia to search up your Spinnerax and your Cottony, and you can also run Quick Grow to evolve from the deck. So it's just hyper consistent and really good control by not letting them retreat. I have seen some people run this with 2 Sabrinas too, which is even more toxic because you Sabrina their bench out and then you just can't retreat because of Gyarados. So if you're looking for a fun, strong, very strong control deck, try this out in ranked when ranked drops, which should be in a couple weeks. I believe ranked is January 9th. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I need to mention that. I don't think Jolteon's really changed. No, Jolteon's the same. Jolteon's just good right now because there's a lot of high energy generation cards in the meta, like Magnezone, for example. Magnezone was everywhere for a while, and a lot of people were running Steelix and Charizard. So I think Jolteon, it's just a solid overall deck. You can run Oricorio too. But let's talk about Mega Altaria. Mega Altaria fell down. It was like tier 1, right? It just placed first in an 82 player tournament, which is pretty good. They're actually running Greninja now with it, and they're running a basic version. Okay, and Greninja, I guess Greninja is just the way to play it. Yeah, top 4 in a 1,100 player tournament. Greninja gives it more control. I would be worried about the draw power and consistently getting Greninja, but I guess since they're running 2 copycats, it makes it worth it. And then double Cyrus too, of course, Chingling early game to shut them down. This deck just has a lot of things you can do with it, and it's pretty versatile against most decks in the game too, and that's why it does so well. This is probably a deck you want to run in rank because you're going against so many different players running different things, and this is one of the most versatile that you should be trying out. All right, next up, who do we have here? We have Mega Lopunny. This is a card that everyone really underestimated, I think, when the trailer, or not the trailer, whenever we saw Lopunny for the first time, everyone was kind of talking down on it, calling it a new Marowak. But look, it has a couple first place placements, second place, and these are decent size. So yeah, it places top first or second consistently. That's crazy. I mean, it's a 2 energy attacker for up to 180 damage, and the good thing is, the reason it's so strong is because the stage 1, first off, this whole deck is stage 1s or basics, so it's very consistent, it's cheap energy, and it will confuse. And confuse is actually a pretty good status condition. Even if you miss both your coin flips, it's still going to confuse. Hitmontop is also good because you can hit their bench and then manipulate their bench too, or make them a little bit lower, so you can one-shot them with Lopunny. And Lucario just gives you also bonus damage. This deck is very consistent, very good. If you're bad at flipping coins, try not to run this. I'm not the best at flipping coins, so I don't know if I'm a huge fan of this, but this is cool that Fighting finally has a top tier deck. It might be at the bottom of tier 2, but it's still tier 2, so it's cool that Fighting has a little something now. This Magnezone deck I'm about to show you, I think, might fluctuate between the top of tier 2, maybe potentially tier 1, just depends how the meta is shifting at the moment, because it was tier 1 like a day or two ago and must have lost a tournament or something, or I don't know, these other decks placed well in recent tournaments. But this deck is always going to be consistently very strong because it got a new Magnemite, one-shotting babies. Magnezone, we got a new Magnezone. This deck was also a tier 2 last update before we even got this Magnezone, and now we got another Magnezone, which gives you a 50-50 chance of just not taking damage that turn. Obviously they're running double copycat because they're leaning into consistency. We have stage 2 lines, and it can run Oricorio as a nice little tech. I think the only problem with this deck is that right now it's actually getting crushed by Lopunny, I believe. Lopunny kind of shuts this down a little bit. It farms for sure. Yeah, look at that. Worst matchup, 31% against Mega Lopunny. So yeah, it depends. I don't know what's going to happen when ranked drops. Ranked is a little bit different from tournaments, but this is the only results I can give you right now because obviously ranked isn't out. Let's look at these placements. Second place 102 players, top 4 and 112, top 4 and okay, so yeah, and I think most people are running this OG Magneton. So one person's trying this new one, but this doesn't really make sense for me. I like to generate energy for free. I guess because they're running the backpack variant. Backpack lets you do plus 20 damage with Magneton, so you're going to do plus 20, and it does plus 20 to the bench too. I believe that's how backpack works. So if you want to try this out, you can, but the OG Magneton has actually more placements. And what do we got next? We have our favorite deck here, Suicune Greninja. Still really good. They're running one Greninja. This one ran in Indeedee actually in a 112 player tournament. They're running Indeedee for some more sustain, and one Irida too. That's interesting. Are they all running Indeedee now? I guess they are. I don't think there's psychic energy in here. I'm pretty sure it's just water energy. They're just running Indeedee for healing. It can help keep Greninja alive, help keep Suicune alive. It's super consistent. I don't know how much. I really don't need to explain this deck. I don't think I do. It's just good. It's just so good. They're running Greninja EX. It's been good for a while. All right, but the top tier deck right now is Mega Absol Hydreigon. I want to look at these placements before we talk about the deck. First in 195, first in 88, first in 89, first in 258 player, actually a second, and so yeah, it seems to consistently have top placements in some of the biggest tournaments that we've had yet. This is the way to play it. You can throw a Chingling in here too if you want to get a little bit spicy, slow him down early game, but you keep Mega Absol alive by having it come out later in the game when it really matters, when you want to get rid of a Cyrus or a Mars from their hand, etc. But you really just want to start with Hydreigon. They have to get through 2 different Hydreigons, then you go into Absol, and then you can heal Absol, get rid of all the supporters that they desperately need, and then you're just going to win the game. We also have 2 of the basic Absols, and that enables bench play, and bench play is obviously super important. You see how many decks we have in the game now that are able to hit the bench. We have the Lopunny, we have Suicune, we have Mega Absol, and we have Mega Absol Darkrai too. It just runs 1 Darkrai. It's almost oh wait, no, what am I talking about? I skipped this deck. I skipped this. I'm sorry, I skipped this. This is running Greninja, Absol, Darkrai, and Tyrogue. I can't believe how have I not played this deck yet? What this one just got categorized. Why is this in here? I guess they're just running it with Magnezone for fun. But it seems like everyone runs the same version of this, except, or they run the Magnezone version. They're just putting it under the same deck category. I mean, these are pretty easy to understand too. Tyrogue early game, you set up Froakie, Greninja, you set up Darkrai, Absol, just damage from the bench, a ton of bench damage. There's Team Rocket Ground. That's toxic. I can't believe that's in there. But that's also just, this deck is so good. Just because of Mega Absol, being able to manipulate their supporters later in the game is so nuts. There's so much you can do with this deck. Hydreigon is just super annoying and strong too, and it one-shots most things in the game. Oh god, yeah, this is going to be everywhere in ranked. I promise you, in ranked drops, it's going to be everywhere. Indeedee is also here. Early game, when you damage yourself with your ability, you just use Indeedee, and this runs only Dark Energy. Don't use Psychic. Most people just run Indeedee for that healing, but that's pretty much the top tier decks right now. These I'm sure there's videos out on them already. I don't want to go through all the tier 4 ones, but yeah, it's a pretty diverse meta. I wouldn't even say Absol EX Hydreigon is that much stronger than these decks. It's honestly, we're in a healthy spot right now. I'm really excited for ranked. Do you guys think they should keep delaying ranked? They delay it a month and a half, right? Isn't that consistently what they're going to do now? I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like to play ranked as soon as these new cards drop, or at least like a week after. I don't know if they can have to delay it like 2 weeks. To me, that doesn't seem right, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to keep it short and sweet, and I have made a lot of videos on these decks, so if you want to watch some gameplay with them, make sure to go check that out. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.